Welcome to the Otakuology podcast, where we have a spooky episode for you today. Hey guys, how's it going? Otaku Mike here, back again with another episode. I know we said the Undertaker one was going to be our Halloween episode, but we're like, we have no other podcast to release, and we wanted to release it last week. So we ran out of our backlog of episodes that we recorded. So we released that one last week. Now you're getting our Halloween episode, and we were actually talking about a horror movie that was somewhat scary. We were talking about the 2020 movie Freaky, starring Vince Vaughn. I don't remember who else was in. I don't remember who else is in this movie. I know Vince Vaughn is in this movie.
I can't remember her name, but she was from the Paranormal Activity 4 movie.
Yes. So you want to get into this and tell us the synopsis for this movie? Oh, by the way, I have my co-host Jen Graves with me.
How could you forget? So upset.
Oh, we are on all major podcast platforms. Go check us out. And yeah. So you want to get into this? Talk about the movie we watched?
Hell yeah.
I suggested this movie that we should watch it. I recently heard about this movie and I saw a trailer for it like back earlier this year or late last year. I think I saw it. And I was like, let's watch this. It's on HBO Max. Let's watch this. This sounds like a fun horror movie.
Right. And I think I've heard about it, but I didn't exactly know about it.
Now, I'm not like a big horror movie fan. You know, there are certain 80s horror movies that I really love. I tend to gravitate more towards like the slashers genre when it comes to horror movies. I'm not really big into like ghosts or like supernatural-esque horror movies. So this one, being a slasher movie, was very up my alley. Watching it and stuff like that, you know.
Oh, so we'll have to watch The Babysitter at some point.
Probably, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I really don't know. But let's get into this and talk about it. I'll give you a synopsis for this movie. 17-year-old Millie Kessler spends her days trying to survive high school and the cruel actions of the popular crowd. But when she becomes the latest target of the Butcher, the town's infamous serial killer, her senior year becomes the least of her worries. When the Butcher's mysterious dagger causes him and Millie to magically switch bodies, the frightened teen learns that she has just 24 hours to get her identity back before she looks like a middle-aged man forever. That's right. The synopsis for this movie. You want to start us off with our opening scene and talk about that?
Heck yeah.
All right. Let's do it.
So we have two teenage couples sitting out at somebody's house, having a good time, drinking, doing all this. Mm-hmm. One of them plays a prank and accidentally spills it on his date.
Yeah.
They leave and go somewhere else, which leaves our other two, the girl whose dad owns the house and the boy, to make out and do other stuff.
Yeah, it's time to get freaky deaky for them.
Right, which we'll come back to that in a second.
Yeah.
But this guy and this girl go in. She's trying to rub out whatever they were drinking with seltzer water or something like that. and the guy leaves to go down in the basement of this girl's dad's house where he knows that he probably has like some kind of old aged wine or
I
something better than.
I think I think he was going to get a bottle of wine. Because I think they were out of wine or they were drinking wine or something. I can't remember exactly what they were doing.
I think he was just looking at it because after he dropped the bottle,
Okay.
he was kind of like, "Oh shit!"
Because his girlfriend gets cheap beer all over her. Because he like kind of plays a prank where his beer like gets on her. I think it was.
Yeah,
And this
which
scene, go ahead.
yeah. I mean, this was probably one of my favorite scenes in the movie, where the
The,
guy.
the opening scene, this whole opening scene was my favorite.
Oh yeah. So this is probably my favorite part. The guy kind of like falls backwards, and his head is pulled back, and a wine bottle is shoved into the top of it.
Not just it's shoved through
Well,
his
not
mouth
not
into his,
yet, not yet. Remember, he shoved it in there, and the guy kind of looked at him for a second.
and then the wine's going down his throat, and the bottle breaks, and the bottle goes through his throat.
Yeah,
At that point, yeah, because he spills some wine, he breaks this bottle, and this guy, who we will call Vince Vaughn, who's the butcher of Blissfield or something like that. I don't remember what it was called. The
yeah.
Blissfield Butcher, I think it was called. I don't even know if he gets a name in this movie, so we're gonna call him Vince Vaughn.
Right.
So after that, he goes to, I believe he goes to kill the guy's girlfriend.
He does. He walks upstairs and he gets her. I can't remember exactly what happens to her though.
She
Then
gets her head smashed in with a toilet lid.
that's right. Yeah,
Yeah, because he brings her and he like beats her with the toilet lid. I think he like knocks her out with it, or I can't remember exactly what she does. Honestly, her kill didn't. It was cool, but it wasn't like my favorite. The wine
yeah.
bottle was pretty cool.
I really feel like the only reason why they showed hers the way that they did was to impressionize Vince Vaughn's character's strength.
Yes, because he is very strong in this, and we don't really get much motivation of why he's actually doing this. But we do see he did steal a mask off of this wall of masks because the person who owns the place like has a bunch of antiques and stuff like that,
Yeah, like
and his
special
mask,
knives and masks
yeah,
and
special
daggers
knives,
stuff.
masks, stuff like that. But he takes one; it's like a stone mask, and it looks like a Jason hockey mask if it was made out of stone. Like it is.
Yeah, the first one. Because did you see where he swaps masks?
No, I did not. I didn't see that part.
At some point, he swaps masks, and it looks almost like the Leatherface mask.
Okay, I didn't see that part. I saw the part where he was wearing like stone mask. I think it was,
Because
and
I think that was the
this
mask that he wore to go get our main character.
okay because this movie does pay very much homage to Jason and Michael Myers and stuff like that.
Yeah, it does.
Or really, really much Jason for the most part. It seems like.
That's true.
But after that, he kills them. He goes and sees the other people who are with these characters. And
Wait. We got to talk
what?
about the sex scene real quick, okay?
Oh, oh my god, that was oh my god, like
that was like I was a little hurt for the guy, okay?
I mean, he did it. He got blue balled. Let's be honest, he got blue balled.
That's true. I mean, he had her bent over the thing because that's what she asked for.
Yeah, she wanted. Yeah.
And then she's like, "We're done," and he was like, "I haven't even like had fun yet. Like I haven't even done anything. I made sure I got you off." And she's like, "Yeah, we're done."
She's like, it's a vagina, not an all-night buffet.
Yeah. I was like,
something like that,
Some of these puns are just fucking horrible.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. Oh my god, I thought it was funny. And so they're walking back because they were in like a garage, I believe. They're walking across the tennis court, and you see Vince Vaughn's character behind them, and the girl like kind of screams, and he breaks this tennis racket and jabs it into both sides of the guy's head. So the guy's
Right.
dead.
Right.
And so she's chasing, the girl's being chased by Vince Vaughn, and she's like doing this cat and mouse game around the house. She gets away because she ends up in a closet with a secret, like a secret door.
Right.
And she's like,
After he throws the spear at her.
after he throws a spear and it goes into the wall. And then Vince Vaughn like leaves because he's like, oh, I can't find her. I'll leave, And she hears her dad come up, and
we get various forms of that. I feel like in this movie where it seems like he left, but he didn't.
Yeah, it's a very much like a slasher person trope.
Yeah,
It's a normal thing that like happens in slasher movies. Like you think you're safe, but then you're not. They're hiding behind a rock or something.
And that part felt very Michael Myers-ish.
Yeah. And so she's running, trying to get to her parents, and bam, he pops out and just impales her on the spear that he threw in the wall. And then
he picks her up off the ground and throws her on it.
He picks her up. I was like, oh my god, that was brutal.
Right.
And he takes this knife. This weird-looking knife, that starts talking to him, and was it before this? It flashes and it's like the 11th or 12th, I think it was. No, it's the 11th because the next day is the 12th.
Yeah.
And we see our main character, Millie. Millie is, how would you describe Millie?
Millie is kind of your somewhat low-class preppy girl. I feel like she would fit better with like the nerds and stuff, but she's not nerdy. She still likes the pink stuff and everything else, but she doesn't fit in with those girls.
I mean, I felt like she was kind of nerdy / outcast. She didn't have like the best clothes. People kept saying she was ugly.
Yeah, but
like, I would.
She didn't have.
They were like, I would do her with a paper bag over her head, type of situation.
Right.
That's what a lot of people were like in the movie to her.
Right. It was pretty weird. I mean, and her best friend was a black girl and then a gay guy. So those were her two best friends, which was kind of funny because as you're watching the movie, this does go back to the homage part of the joke of somebody that's different gets killed, and so it's either a black person or a gay person. So,
which is weird because no minorities get killed in this.
That's true.
And
well, I don't know if the girl that like the phone girl, because wasn't she like kind of Asian or something?
I don't remember. To be honest, I can't remember. I can't say whether or not she was.
Okay.
But we meet Millie. She's essentially an outcast in this school. Her mom is a drunk. Her sister's a cop, and her dad died a year ago. We keep bringing that up. Her dad died a year ago. Obviously this family has problems.
Right.
And we meet the bullies in your typical bully form at the school.
Right, which are the jocks.
The preppy girls, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, we do get kind of that stuff of all of them talking about, finding out who like the crush is which is one of the jocks. He's just a nicer person, a nicer jock. You know, isn't really out to like sleep with anybody or anything else like that. I mean, he is, but he's not there to take advantage of anybody.
Yeah, and we see that a lot of people don't seem to like Millie very much. Like she gets a lot of backlash from like the teachers and the different uh, students within the school.
Which
But we do,
some of that seemed really weird. Like it was ill placed. You know,
yeah.
like
Because I mean, they kept saying like Millie is like ugly and she's like not motivated and stuff like that. But I'm like, she was an attractive girl. Like, she
right,
was an attractive woman. Like she's not ugly.
right.
She just had normal bargain clothes on with her hair was kind of not combed.
You know what it kind of reminds me of is that one Taylor Swift song.
It reminds me of was it is it I can't remember what it was called. There was a movie, I can't remember what it was called, where like they like make over this nerd girl.
Uh, well, either Princess Diaries or like Not Another Teen Movie.
No, it's something else. I can't remember what it was called.
Okay.
It's good. Maybe I don't know if it was. She's not. Maybe it's not. She's not that into you. I can't remember what it was called. I don't remember. I don't remember what it was called.
Oh
But
yeah, we have a lot of those movies from back in the day. Okay.
there's a specific movie where
Yeah.
it's like, oh, you take her glasses off and put her hair up in a ponytail and she's hotter type of
Yeah.
situation.
You comb her hair out from having oh shit, what is it called? Where it's really
hair in her
curly and stuff.
hair in her face.
Like a perm, you know,
Yeah,
wherever
yeah,
your hair's curly.
yeah. So after this, we see Millie is the mascot at the school, and she's getting like orange soda dumped on her. She's only doing it because it's an extracurricular activity, and she goes to wait for her mom. Her mom never shows up to to after for the homecoming game,
Right.
and this is where we get our interaction with Vince Vaughn, the butcher, and Millie.
Well, before that, the sister calls and says,
Oh
"Okay,
yeah,
I'll come pick you up." You know, because it's been however long, and like there's
yeah,
nobody in the stadium now. Like it's pitch black, the lights are off. The
yeah,
people that do the maintenance or whatever and make sure that all the lights and everything off and everybody gets out, they're all gone. So she's the only person
yeah.
that's actually there.
Yeah, she's the only person there. So she tries to get away from the butcher. She's not very good at getting away from the butcher. She almost gets away, but she doesn't. And she gets pinned down and stabbed with this magical knife. And when she gets stabbed, he gets stabbed.
Right. There's a ruby in the right eye of this thing. The
Yeah,
bottom of the hilt looks like a skull.
yeah,
And right before you stab somebody or whatever, the clouds pop open
hmm
or block out the moon and everything, and then it kind of shines when you stab the person, and virtually that is the thing that is the transfer of souls to the new bodies.
yeah. And
Which
so now,
this knife had a special name. Do you remember the name that it was?
oh no, I do not remember the name whatsoever. I do not remember the name.
Because they said it so many times, and I was like, I'm gonna need to know this for the podcast. I'm gonna need
I mean,
to.
yeah,
I don't.
I guess I can look it up. I don't know, but I'm not gonna worry about that. It's a special magical knife, okay?
Yeah, because it's like a Spanish knife. Because the first word is like del
Yeah, I don't
casa,
something.
whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
The only other
So
thing we know about it is the Spanish teacher, when they asked her about it, freaked out. So
yeah, so she gets stabbed. She gets saved by her sister. The butcher runs away. Millie is hurt, obviously. She's stabbed in the shoulder. She goes home. It's Friday the 13th. Which, did you know what the original title for this movie is called?
No.
It was called Freaky Friday the 13th.
Oh, psh.
Yeah. But
that's kind of that's a bit on the nose for that.
well, the thing is, this whole movie is basically based on a pun.
That's
A
true.
pun that lasts for 1 hour and 40 minutes. I'm honestly really surprised they were able to stretch it out that long. To be exact.
I mean, that's true.
Yeah.
I think they did a good job of it. You know, it kind of seemed like the haunted house movie that the Wayans brothers did, or one of the
Yeah.
Wayans brothers did.
I have to say though, I like this a little bit more than the Scary Movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, or the what was it called? That Poltergeist one that he made. I can't remember what it was called. I don't
I have
remember
no idea.
exactly what it was called.
I just know that one's the haunted house.
So Millie wakes up, and Millie is not Millie. Millie is the butcher. You know, or the butcher is Millie, I guess you could say.
Right, which I think I really like this scene too because he wakes up and he's just kind of looking around and is like, "Where the fuck am I at?"
Well, I think they're both like, "Where the fuck am I at?" when they both wake up.
Yeah, but we expected it from her waking up in his body, not so much him doing that in her
Yeah.
body.
Yeah, and you know the first thing that he does while he's in her body, he like, "Oh, I got tits."
Right,
Let me
which
touch
is a
my
pun
tits.
in itself. Because how many manga or TV shows or anything have we watched where that was a big pun that was involved?
Let me touch my tits. I have tits. Let me touch them. But her mom wakes her up. She's or he, I don't know what we would call the butcher wakes the butcher up. I guess you could say.
Yeah,
She's got to get ready for school, and she almost kills her sister, or he almost kills Millie's sister. Which I was like, why didn't the mom like she? The mom did not notice this. Like she had a knife in her hand. She was getting ready to kill Millie's sister.
right.
Like was she just
Do you think the mom was still like drunk?
maybe a little bit, maybe a little bit. I don't remember exactly. You know, she could have been. I think she might have been drunk. Who knows?
She could have been, or could
We
not
don't
have
know.
been.
We don't know.
That's true.
But then we get Millie waking up in the butcher's body, and he's like, "Oh, where am I? Where the fuck am I? Like, why am I a gigantic?" I like
Right,
this part. I like this part where this homeless like drug addict shows up. He's like, "Hey man, you got any drugs? You got any candy? You know?" She's like, "What are you talking about?" And Millie's like, "Am I a teenage girl? Am I a teenage girl?" And he's like, "No, you're not a teenage girl.
what do I look like to you?
What do I look like to you?" and he's like, "Hey, whatever you're using or on right now, can I have some of it? You know?" She's
Right.
like, "No, I don't have." He's like, "I don't have any drugs." And and you see the guy. He's like, I'll suck
I,
your dick."
I know what point you're talking about. And then suddenly all of it.
He's like, "I'll suck your dick, all of it."
This part was cracking me up so much
Yeah.
because I was like, I did not expect that to be done.
Yeah, that was funny. So Millie gets a makeover, which I have a question for you. How
Millie or Millie's body.
Millie's body gets a makeover. She puts on a jacket, combs her hair. How does he know how to put on makeup perfectly? Because he puts on makeup very well for a dude.
It might be like a red dragon pun. Who knows?
I don't know, but he makes Millie
Because
even hotter.
Buffalo Bill knew how to do that supposedly.
True, but that's Buffalo Bill.
Right.
Hey, would you fuck me? I'd fuck me.
Which, up to this point, I really liked that they kept the character pretty pure on not talking,
Yeah.
because we don't actually see Millie's character talk after this whole body swap thing for like a long time.
She talks here and there, or he talks here and there, I guess you could say, but it's
Yeah.
very short and very abrupt type of sentences, and we end up seeing the girl who bullied Millie shows up because apparently Millie's famous now because she survived the attack from the butcher, and they have a whole like big celebration for Millie. She's walking through the hallway,
And
and the
since she
girl
looks
shows.
hot now, people want her to be their friend and to
Yeah,
sleep with her.
yeah, they want people to be her friend now because she's hot, even though she was hot before. You know, now she's double hot.
Yeah.
You know,
What's that
and
video game company? Double Fine?
oh, double fine. She's double fine hot.
Double Fine.
So they go into the locker room, and she's kind of like, "Hey, spill the beans. Tell me what happened. I want to know what happened." And she's like, "Nah." And then she thinks Millie's like a lesbian,
Trying to make a move on her.
trying to make a move. She's like, "Ah, no. If you're not gonna tell me what's
Which,
going on, like,
which then we get this really weird part with that, because I feel like she was sitting there for a second considering it, and then she's like,
yes,
if we were going to smash tacos or whatever, it can't be during like AP biology or something. And I was like, I'm so
yeah."
confused on this part right now.
I think she said, I'm not I'm not looking to scissor right now. I think that's what she said. I can't remember.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like
Which
that.
which made me think like, what was her sexual orientation? Because
I think she might have been a little into it. Might have been a little bisexual or bi-curious,
it
maybe.
wasn't exactly clear. So
No, it wasn't. But we did find out that the butcher, Millie the butcher, is in the locker room as well, because she is taking a shower. The bully,
Millie in the butcher's body.
well, that's what I said. Millie the butcher.
Oh, I was totally thrown off on when you said that. I was like, wait, hold on. There's like
And
no way around it.
Vince Vaughn is taking a shower.
Vince Vaughn's body.
Vince Vaughn's body is taking a shower, and the bully sees that, oh my god, the butcher is here, because they release a description of what the butcher looks like, and we she runs to tell Millie the butcher, and she's like, okay, this is what we're gonna do, okay, and she sticks her in this thing, and I was like, what the fuck is she sticking her into?
So this was weird.
It's a cryo machine for cryotherapy.
It is. It's to help muscles and everything. But I watched this part and I had to watch it twice because I was sitting there and I was like, "What is she putting her in a sauna?" Like I thought she was gonna like melt her.
I didn't know. That's what I thought too. But when it goes filmed from the other side, it says partially says cryo on the door.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, it's a cryotherapy like chamber, and she locks her in there and like freezes her to death.
Right, and then Vince Vaughn's character comes out of the shower, smelling like daisies, because obviously they smell like shit to begin with from the butcher not bathing.
Yeah,
and walks in and notices that it's on. Pulls the crutch out of the door that was used to hold it shut, and opens it and notices whatever her name is.
But the bully.
The bully. With her phone in her hand is frozen solid.
Yeah, and she touches her, and we get typical fashion. When somebody gets frozen, they fall down, and they break apart.
Right.
And I was like, oh, that was brutal. That was brutal. To think that somebody got froze to death, and they couldn't do anything about it,
Right.
But we see, and Millie Vince Vaughn Vince Vaughn sees his
Mi-
body or her body.
Millie Vaughn and Millie Butcher. Okay.
Millie Vaughn sees Millie Butcher, and he starts chasing her, and we find out that her friends are waiting in like the theater area, and Millie Vaughn is like, "Oh my god, guys!" And they're like, "Oh my god, it's the Butcher! It's the Butcher!
Run!
Run!" And I love this chase sequence because they're like trying to throw things at Vince Vaughn, and at one point he like the gay guy. I don't know what his name is. The gay guy is.
It starts with a J. I want to say it's Jonah.
I don't remember. It's the gay guy to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
He flings a tray of like tater tots at
Whoa.
Millie.
So let's back up on this part for 1 second.
Okay.
So I like where both of them ran into the back of the cafeteria into the kitchen.
Yeah.
And the lunch lady is standing there and giving them this dirty look, like why they're back there. And when Millie Vaughn runs in, you just see her whole entire face, and she goes, "Ah!" and runs out.
Oh, I didn't see that part. I must have missed that part.
It was hilarious because it was like, it almost seemed like it was fake, and that, she did that.
Yeah.
But then going to the part that you're talking about, starting out with the list of what was thrown.
He flings like this tray, and he flings it to where the tater tots actually hit Millie Vaughn, and he's like, really? Like, really? Like, he's like over 6 foot tall. He's a hulking man.
And then
they're like,
grabs the tray and uses it as a shield.
Yeah.
Plates are thrown. There's another tray of, I want to say that they're called steak fingers.
Probably, I think so.
A tray of steak fingers are thrown. I think there was one other thing that was thrown food-wise. And then they go around to where they have this kind of funny-ish epic fight scene.
Oh, I love this. I love this. Where like
the friends have spoons and ladles trying to hit him.
You missed the part where like Millie Vaughn gets kicked in the balls, and he's like, "Oh, I have balls. Oh, my balls."
That's true. That was really funny. I have balls.
I have balls. Balls.
So anybody listen to that, put that in your noggin real quick, because that will be brought back up later on.
I love that part though when he's like, look, if I wanted to hurt you, I would. And he like puts like the thing he was using as a shield down. And then they start attacking him with like giant spoons.
Right, yeah.
And the only way he can say that he is actually Millie is he does the beaver dance.
Right.
He does like a beaver dance. He's like, oh my god, that's Millie.
This was also a part where they played up how strong Vince Vaughn's body of the Butcher actually is, because then you get a bunch of apologies. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I pushed you across the room, or I threw you, or something like that. Like the strength aspect was added into it as well again,
which was really funny. To see.
Which I'm confused if he's supposed to be kind of like a homeless guy as well, which I felt like. Then how is he so strong? It just I guess if we're going off of the Michael Myers kind of aspect of it,
that's
then
like
it doesn't
saying
matter.
why is Jason so strong? Why
That's true too.
Well,
he's possessed by a demon. Okay.
Well, you know what I mean. Like that's you got to throw a little bit of logic out the window when you're dealing with like horror movies.
That's true.
When you start to think about it a little bit, it starts to break down.
That's true.
You start to throw in like real life logic, it's gonna break down the story, and you're gonna be like, okay, that doesn't make sense.
Right. So after doing this beaver dance, we also get where the friends take turns asking questions back and forth of this character to make sure that Millie is actually who's in the body.
Yeah, and I like it. The scene where they're in the bathroom and he's like, "Oh, Man, I gotta pee a lot. Whew, I like peeing standing up.
Right. This
And
ain't
then,
this ain't that bad, and then kind of like turns, and you hear it hitting the floor, and you're oh,
yeah.
hold on.
And then they end up leaving. The friends end up leaving, and we get the scene with
Which
the bully.
on this part, when they were asking the questions, did you catch the
Uh-huh.
guy that she likes name?
No, I
By
think it's like
far, this is a stupid name.
is it Booker?
Booker Hooker.
Booker Hooker.
That's
That's
his
his name.
name. Booker Hooker. And I was like, you couldn't have fucking come up with a different name. You had to use basically the same first and last name with a B and an H.
How is he not like a misfit and made fun of?
Because he's
With
a
the name
jock.
with the name like Booker Hooker.
He's a jock. I don't know.
Okay. But I love this scene where Millie Vaughn is in the bathroom and this guy's like, hey, come on, I gotta take a shit. And you see him look up and you can see him looking over the door and he's like, I think I just took a shit. Like
Yeah.
he gets
Like,
scared and
she grabs him, pushes him up
yeah,
against the wall,
yeah.
and then slowly raises him up, and then just like I feel like what any of us would do if we were in a bigger body with a bully,
Yeah.
and be like, "Don't you ever bully Millie or Jonah or whatever the other girl's name ever again, or I'll come back and get
Yeah.
you."
I was like, I'll kill you.
And then this guy pisses himself. So
Yeah. And then they end up chasing down Millie Butcher down. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. And she gets the guards to show up, like the police that were looking for the butcher. And she acts all helpless and defenseless, and they run and they try to find a disguise for Millie Vaughn, Vince Vaughn, and this is where we get the interaction with Millie and her mom.
yeah, running from the sister and then actually meeting the mom.
Yeah, and I liked this scene. It was kind of sweet.
Which I was a little confused where the scene was actually going to go with everything that was happening.
Yes.
Because there's kind of this weird back and forth where the mom says, "Oh, maybe we could go on a date."
Yeah. Or
And
get
then,
some coffee.
And I love where we get the kid reaction of, I'm talking to my parent, and she goes, "Ew, I mean."
It's like, oh, I'm actually married. And it was, I thought, maybe they go on a date?
That's what I thought was going to happen. Maybe they go on a date, and then when they threw the date out the window, I was like, oh, okay. And then it was kind of like, well, we could do dinner. And it was like, oh my God, it's back on. What the fuck?
I mean, we get a weirder scene down the road.
That is true.
In the future, when we'll get to it, I want to talk about that scene. But they leave this store. They find out that Millie Butcher is with the popular kids at like an arcade of some kind. I don't remember what they were doing, but like they end up canceling homecoming. Homecoming dance is canceled, and they're trying to figure out exactly what to where they can have like an unofficial sort of homecoming dance thing.
Right.
And I like this part where the head jock guy, he grabs Millie Butcher's ass. And we get the scene where she's like kind of smiling and she leans in to like kind of talk in his ear. And she's like, you touching me just made me my pussy more drier than a piece of sandpaper.
Yeah.
I lost it. I was like, oh my God.
Right. I did too, because that was like out of nowhere.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, burn, burn.
Right. Then we
So
kind of get like a little bit of an epic chase scene
yeah,
where
in a
they actually,
in a putt putt golf course.
right, where they catch her,
Millie.
which yeah, Millie Butcher, they catch Millie
Yeah.
Butcher, and Millie Vaughn actually gets her in the head with one of the clubs, which
Yeah.
I found hilarious because throughout they do exaggerate like any wounds that have been given
For
or anything else.
for a for a moment, I thought he like hit her head all the way around.
Oh,
Like
I thought he killed her. Like, how are you going to go back to your body now?
I love the scene like right after that because Booker is with Millie Butcher, and uh, Millie Vaughn is like we gotta stop him, because they just knocked out Millie, and he's like,
Right.
oh my god, it's the Butcher. I love this scene where he like runs, he jumps through the wall, and he like basically knocks him out, like fucking knocks him out,
Yeah.
like cold
Oh
knocks
yeah.
him out.
Cold cocked him. Yeah.
Yeah. And I love this scene afterwards where they're at the gay best friend's house, and they have like a pack of peas on his head, and Millie's like, he's so beautiful even when he's knocked out cold, sleeping,
Millie
and
Vaughn's character.
yeah, Millie Vaughn's character.
So if y'all are listening, you get it. It's like a middle aged man saying that this teenage boy is cute.
Yes.
So the
Yes.
visual of a lot of this stuff is like from a middle aged man's point of view, and it just gets really funny. So
Yeah, it gets really funny. Booker wakes up. He's like, "Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!" And the way Millie tells Booker who she is like a poem that she wrote. Nobody else knew about this poem but
yeah,
Booker.
which they go back and forth. Which I felt like this is almost like a clone thing, where we see a
Yeah,
movie where there's clones, and it's like that's not the real me. That is, and since they
yeah,
swap spirits, you get the well. This one I can believe, but what about that person over there? And they have to
yeah,
prove they
yeah,
have to prove it.
yeah. Very much so. Very much so. And they have Butcher Millie tied up and gagged.
But sure.
And Millie Butcher, I don't know I'm confused now. Okay, Millie Butcher,
Yeah.
tied up and gagged, and they leave her with the friend, and we get this funny scene where his mom comes home and sees him and Millie's tied up to a chair, and
Oh
he's
my
like, hey,
god, I fucking
what's
love this part.
what's going on? He's like, well, we're role playing, and but she's like, well, it seems like she doesn't really like what's going on, she seems very upset. He's like, oh, she's supposed to be upset,
That's her role. She's supposed to be in distress.
she's supposed to be in distress. And then he's like, but is it role playing like a sexual thing, right? And
Yes.
he's like, yes, it is. And
Which,
he's like,
which this is the part I love.
where he's like, Mom, I have something to tell you.
I didn't want to tell you this yet, but
All right, I'm straight.
I'm
And she's like, bullshit.
And
Bullshit.
I think this is the perfect thing on the presentation. Like in most movies, it's sad because you know that the family is going to react bad to I'm gay or something like that. And this one had the perfect role swap for it and be like, Mom, I'm straight.
And
She just like lost her shit over it. I was like, oh my god.
And she's like, you're a lot of things, but straight is not one.
Exactly.
Like, you're not straight whatsoever, And Millie Butcher ends up getting free and trying to attack them, and she ends up the other group ends up going to try to get the dagger from the police station,
Right.
and they find out that Millie Butcher is out and going for the dagger itself, because they find out that we totally forgot. They find out that they have like a day to swap back.
Yeah, I think when they find out it's like 8 hours, and they're like, "Oh
Yeah.
no!"
And so they have to get this dagger, and they figure it out, through some different things. They put two and two together, and they go to the police station where Millie's sister is, and the friends at the female friend's actually name is Nyla. Now that I remember,
Okay.
her name's Nyla, and Nyla goes into the police station and is going to take this dagger. And Millie's sister shows up, and she's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And she's like, "I can explain, what's behind your back." She's like, "Put the fucking knife down," and Millie,
get over to me.
Get over to me, and she got her gun drawn.
Don't you answer that phone.
Yeah. Millie Butcher.
There was just so much stuff she kept telling her not to do, and I was like, oh my God, just tell her to do something, okay?
Millie Butcher shows up because she wants to get the dagger. And the other people show up, and Millie Butcher gets away with the dagger.
Can we back up for a second here?
Okay. So, we forgot the car. We forgot about the car.
So when Nyla leaves the car to go try and trick the sister into getting the dagger, we have Booker and Millie Vaughn still in the car, and they're talking about all this stuff. They're talking about the poem and everything. And so Booker gets in the back seat with her and starts talking to her some more.
You find out that Booker actually had a crush on Millie, or has a crush on
Millie. And so they end up making out a little bit.
Well, I love the scene. I love the scene where he's like, "I kind of want to kiss you right now," and Millie's like, "I'm a middle-aged man with
yellow teeth." Yeah,
and they start to make out a little bit, and she kind of freaks out, and she's like, "You know what? Why don't we do this when my hand isn't like the size of your fucking head?
when my hand's not bigger than your face."
Yeah. I was like, oh my God, are they going where I think they're going with this scene,
Right,
like,
that's when they see Millie Butcher and they get out of the car to go.
They're
chase her down.
Yeah. And Millie Butcher escapes, and they're like, okay, well, where is she going? She's going to the mill. To the mill? Because the mill is where they're...
Yes, after she gets the dagger, because she picks it up off the ground, takes the sister's police car, and goes to the mill to get away from everything.
Correct. And that's where the big party is happening, and she wants to go kill people. And this is where our big climactic event happens. Like, they get there, Millie and her friends get there. They have 12 minutes to stab Millie Butcher to make things better and right as they're being hunted down by the police. And Booker gives Millie his watch, and he's like, okay, you got 12 minutes, okay? And so we see this scene where Millie Butcher goes into the party, and we meet the main jock guy.
Yeah, the head jock guy.
Yeah, the head main jock guy. He's like, hey, hey, how's it going? I don't normally make, I don't make pussies dry like sandpaper. You know that, right? You know that, right? Obviously, I don't make pussies, dry like that. I make pussies wet, And he kind of like flexes his muscle. And he's like, oh, you like that? You like that? And we get this scene where they go to like the back room of this mill, and the other two jocks show up, and I was like, oh no, oh no. And he's like, can you do math, Millie?
This is another part, like, that I find really bad because this happens a lot.
Yes,
on college campuses and stuff.
Yes,
and I was actually really happy what happened to these jock guys happened.
Yes.
So like at the very beginning, when the girl kind of was, I'm better than the guy, and didn't like try and make it equal and finish him off as well.
Yeah.
And that was like an oh no moment for him. This one was an oh yes moment for this shit that happened.
Yes. So he's like, "Hey, Millie, can you do math? There's 3 of us, and you have 3 holes. So we're basically gonna like fucking like gang rape you.
We're gonna even it out.
Yeah, we're gonna even it out basically." And she grabs the bottle that one of the guys has, empties it out.
Which we know it's Jack Daniels.
Yeah, Jack Daniels. No, he empties
Yeah.
it out, hits one of them over the head with the bottle, slices another one's throat, and then the main bad guy like flips out and kind of freaks out. And I have to say, this scene was so satisfying to watch.
It was, and then he falls over the dead bodies,
and then
she pulls out the chainsaw.
She pulls out a chainsaw and cuts off his dick.
Oh, you know what we forgot?
What?
When she goes in and kills the woodshop teacher.
Oh yeah, we did, but it's okay.
Okay, so bringing y'all up to date, the woodshop teacher dies. It's a little epic. Gets cut in half.
Gets cut in half. Yeah.
We'll go from there. So.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, he died.
That guy looked really familiar too.
He was on. If you ever watched Mad TV,
yeah,
he played Stewart, I believe.
Okay.
You know the guy. Oh no, I don't wanna.
No, don't touch me. No,
don't touch me. No. He was that guy. That's the same guy.
Okay.
That's the same. Yeah. And so, yeah, main bad guy main bully gets his dick cut off. And I was like, yeah, cut his fucking dick off. Yeah.
Satisfactory.
I like, she literally like just goes, she cuts it in half, I believe, like long ways. Like she goes right for the crotch area.
Yeah, I think she just stuck it in there. So I think he probably just died from.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, like I mentioned earlier, the Babysitter movie, we'll have to watch that and cover it at some point because it is kind of a horror movie too.
Yeah.
I like how it will take stuff, almost like how this one told us the dates, and it'll throw it up when different things happen. And I really wish at this point, when the chainsaw thing hit this guy, that we would have had like a fatality thrown up on there. Fatality.
Oh yeah, that would have been funny. That would have been funny.
Because I would have loved it. It would have been a Mortal Kombat shout out. I mean, it would have all been great.
We get this next part where the gay best friend comes in. And he sees another jock and he's like, "Hey, have you seen Millie? We need to find Millie." He's like, Yeah, I found Millie. Let's go get Millie. Millie's over there, And we get this scene, and I was like, "Uh-oh, is this going where I think it's going?" And the jock guy starts trying to make out with the gay best friend, and luckily the gay best friend like pushes him away. And he's like, "Look, no, he didn't consent to that, so good on him, And he's like, "What are you, a faggot?" He's like, "Obviously, I am. I'm gay. Hello,
Right, which that's kind of another part that I hated. So I like that this guy got his just desserts too.
Yeah. Consensual is always the best thing, But he backs up to this wall and he's like, "If you fucking tell anybody, I'm gonna fucking kill you." And you see this hand bust through the wall, and he gets fucking fish hooked into the eye and dragged through the wall. And I'm like, God damn. Like, right. Oh, that was fast, And
then here comes out Millie Butcher.
Millie Butcher shows up, and then Vince Vaughn shows up. They have a epic showdown, kind of. And they have a fight, and Millie runs away with the knife. And this part I actually like, because Millie Vaughn actually gets injured in the leg.
Yeah.
Excuse me, in the leg. And so he's trying to run after him. And we see from behind in the back, you just see the best friend just like booking it. Just full on
best
like
female friend just whoop past.
Like full on like sprint, and you see the other friend full on sprint behind him.
Yeah, and they
Like,
grab
like,
him. Which
yeah,
I was kind of sitting there. I was like, man, if I ever get into a fight, I hope Mike and one of my other friends are these two people like to catch up to the person first. Because I was like, man,
I would probably. I mean, I might. Then I would have to be like, oh, hold on. Just give me a second.
I mean, but it was excellent teamwork. I think
Yeah.
that this was one of the best like team up situations I've ever seen
Yeah, and they
because
pin her down to the ground.
everybody had their role and everybody knew what to
Yeah.
do instead
Yeah.
of like, at some point somebody goes, well, what do we do?
Yeah, what do we do? I don't know. What do we do? But they were smart about it.
Yeah.
They were smart about it, and then they pin her down to the ground, and she's like, "Oh my god!" Like the timer went off. The timer went off. I'm gonna be stuck in this body forever. He's like, "Oh wait, the bell didn't go off," and they remembered that
She remembers from the
yeah.
boyfriend or from Booker.
Yeah, the Booker, he always sets everything 5 minutes ahead, so they still have time, and they transform. Like they get brought back into their bodies, and Vince Vaughn gets shot and dies, or supposedly dies. We don't know. We think this is the ending, but it's not the ending.
Let me just tell you, I had to pause it right here,
Yeah,
and I was like, we still have like 10 minutes left. What's
yeah.
gonna happen? What's gonna happen?
Yeah, and so they wheel Vince Vaughn off. We think we're gonna have a happy ending. Millie and Booker kiss, and they're not in a middle-aged body. Which
Right.
is it's good. And then the mom and the sister show up. Everything's gonna be happy and good. Vince Vaughn is in a ambulance. They're driving. You think Vince Vaughn dies, and you find out that he took um the pulse thing off his finger that reads your
Yeah,
pulse.
I can't remember what it is.
He takes the thing off his finger, so he's presumed to be dead. We don't know what happens after that, how he gets out of the ambulance.
Right.
But Millie and her family are home. Millie goes to get something. I don't remember what. And she finds out that the front door is open.
She thinks that her sister left it open.
Yeah. She closes it, hears a noise, and she finds out that the butcher is in the house. And he's going to finish what he started. He's going to kill Millie,
Which, this is another scene that I love because you have the mom, the sister, and her all fighting him.
This scene was very cool. And I was honestly like, for most of the movie, for the beginning, I was like, ooh, I'm a little creeped out. At the end, I was like really fucking creeped out. Like I was getting like oh my god, like she gonna fucking die, Like I was like, what the fuck's in the shadows, Oh!
Well, I mean, the choreography for this was amazing.
Oh yes, it was good. It was good.
Which I do like the part where she's trying to go in and find her mom, and she sits there, and you see him walk behind her and matches her footsteps perfectly, so she doesn't know it until they actually get into the room.
Yes. And they kill the butcher in a brutal fashion. Millie
kill him like you kill vampires.
They ram a table leg through his heart.
Yeah.
Or the bag through his back, through his chest.
Right. And to add insult to injury,
she kicks it in.
Yeah.
Yes.
And her sister's like you went hard, you went hard.
Yeah. She's like, I am fucking hard.
Yeah, and then she says that like under her breath right at the end, like, I'm not whatever, or
Yeah.
And that's where our movie ends.
So tell me, what did you think of this movie?
Oh, it was amazing. I loved it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What were some of your favorite highlights of this movie?
I think all the fight scenes.
Yeah.
And probably like the murder scenes. I really like the ones where you knew something was going to happen, and then
Yeah.
the jokes that kind of spawned out of them.
I love the jokes. I love that it leaned into the tropes because there's a lot of tropes with horror movies and stuff like that, you know?
Right.
I like that it took basically Freaky Friday and Friday the 13th and mashed them together. It was like, yeah, this would happen, you know? This kind of stuff would happen, you know? Imagine if Jason was in this fucking movie. It's like, we got to cross over with Jason, you know?
Right.
Like, that would have been fucking hilarious.
Right.
The highlight of this movie, honestly, is fucking Vince Vaughn.
That's
Vince
true.
Vaughn steals this movie. He is the best part of this movie. Him trying to be a teenage girl is fucking hysterical.
Yes.
It is like, oh my god, I was fucking laughing for half this movie. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a movie that doesn't really take itself too seriously, but it has a serious slant to it, you know, because people do die in horrible, gruesome ways.
Right.
I thought we would get, honestly, more kills than what we got.
That's true too.
Because we get the beginning, we get the girl and the school, and then we get all the kills at the end.
Right.
For a chunk of that, we don't get a lot of kills, but we get a good story that is told to us. You know, I enjoyed this story quite a bit. You know, it was fun. It was fun. You know,
It was.
it was
I
it
would.
was
I would definitely recommend this to people.
yes. I recommended it to my coworkers actually today.
Yeah.
Like I had so much fun with this. I want to watch their other movie, Happy Death Day, which
True.
crosses Groundhog's Day with like I think like Scream or something like that. I can't remember
Yeah.
exactly, but man, this was fun. This is fun. It was a fun take on the horror genre, which we
Yeah.
don't really see that often.
This is
I
true.
like I liked all the special like effects when it comes to like people dying and stuff like that. I thought they were really well done. It looked like they were all practical for the most part. I didn't see any real like CGI-esque
Yeah.
kills.
The only one that I saw with that was probably kind of the freezer one.
I thought they probably had like a dummy made for that or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah,
So.
this was fun. Like it was.
Ooh, what would you rate this?
I would rate it a 4 out of 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would probably give it a 4.5. I
Okay. Yeah.
liked it that much.
It was a fun, entertaining movie. I enjoyed it. I would love to see more, but probably not with. I don't think I need Millie anymore as a character.
Yeah.
But go off in like a different direction with another set of characters.
Right.
Because like Millie's story has been told. We don't necessarily need Millie back. Maybe if she was like maybe like a supporting character,
Right.
maybe. But like I don't need Millie back to have Millie switch bodies. You know,
Right.
I can have somebody else. You know,
Yeah.
it was
Well,
fun. It's a fun movie. Go
where
ahead.
else can people find us?
We can be found on YouTube at Otakuology, on all major podcast platforms, Instagram, you know, stuff like that. You know,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I have nothing really bad to say about this movie,
Oh yeah. Two
except I
thumbs
had
up.
to
It
watch.
was is awesome.
Only bad thing I had to watch it on my phone. That was the bad thing.
Right. Had to
I had
watch
to
it in
watch it on my
parts.
phone. Yeah.
Well, as always, guys, thanks for watching. As always, see you next Tuesday. Stay tuned for more from the Otakuology podcast.
Take care and happy Halloween.
Yeah, happy Halloween.